What is going on, guys? Matt Downs with Daily Grind Fantasy Sports here to give you the edge for the Saints vs Seahawks matchup on DraftKings. Cannot wait to break it down. If you guys are brand new to this channel, we provide both free and paid content for all daily fantasy sports across all sports. If you could please show your support by hitting that subscribe button, notification bell, and of course smashing that like button for all of our future NFL content. If you would like to know more about becoming a better DFS player and taking down that big GPP, head over to www.dgfantasy.com. On dgfantasy.com, we give you cheat sheets for every major sport, along with ownership projections, actual projections, and strategy for every single slate. We also cover optimal cash plays as well as preferred GPP plays and stacks for specific contest sizes. We do the dirty work for you. We are also currently partnered with Fantasy Cruncher, the best optimizer in the industry. When signing up for our $30 package, you also get a $20 credit to use towards any Fantasy Cruncher product. We provide the best value in the industry. Now let's go ahead and dive right into this NFL Showdown slate here between the Saints and the Seahawks. We have another fantastic matchup on our hands here for Monday Night Football. Unfortunately, this game's only a 41.5 over-under, so I always start out the conversation here in these videos by stating whether defenses are viable or not. They are definitely viable in this contest, more specifically for the Saints. They are 4-point favorites here. They're not playing at home, which just goes to show you how dominant that they should be here against this lackluster offense here in the Seahawks, led by Geno Smith. So that's not something that we like to see in terms of showdown slates, because we like to see a lot of offense. Defenses, whenever they make it into the optimal, it's never fun. And it's always because just offenses score a lot more points. They have a lot more opportunities to score more points. If you guys look here at the defenses, they're still going to be 19.4% projected ownership here for the Seahawks, and for the Saints 18.2, and it does have a the Saints do have a very lofty price tag here, so I don't know if that's quite accurate, but regardless, like, these two defenses are way too high owned in my opinion. Like, if you're going to shove a Saints defense in there, you're going to hope that they're going to stay above 10 points, because they have to get over 11 points really to hit value. So they have to let up no points whatsoever against the Seahawks, or force a lot of turnovers, or even score a touchdown, and that's just unlikely. So if you do start defenses, by all means feel free. I will be fading them again. Always an edge in terms of fading defenses there. So let's go ahead and start out on the Saints side of the ball here with the quarterback, Jameis Winston, 40.7% owned here. He should be a cash core lock. Seahawks are very bad here defensively through the air. Jameis Winston, primarily a pocket passer. So at 40.7%, we have him projected for 16 DK points. I really do like him here at 11.8K. Should be a focal point of the offense, and if they're going to get anything going, it's going to be through him or Kamara or both. So definitely do like Jameis Winston as a cash core piece in small GPPs and cash contests. Kamara is the highest owned player just in general on the slate, for good reason. He's projected the highest amount of points as well here with 20 DraftKings points. Really do like him. PPR monster if Jameis Winston can complete passes to him. And this Seattle Seahawks defense just stinks as a whole. So I do like him here. If they are going to get out ahead here, they're going to control the pace of the game through Alvin Kamara. He should get a heavy dose of carries here, whether it's through the air or just on the ground here. He's on the field literally 100% of the time when comparing him to the other running backs on this team. Has gotten 16, 26, 24. This game was kind of an outlier here where they were playing from behind, so they had to throw the ball very early and often, and then 20 points, or 20 carries. So he's been getting a heavy dose of volume with Jameis Winston as quarterback. 12.8K. I know the price tag looks pretty insane, but again, he should be one of the highest scoring players on the slate unless the Seahawks come out of here and dominate at home, which is unlikely. Could happen, but very unlikely. So 12.8K, definitely a cash core play for me for Alvin Kamara. For wide receiver here, we're going to look at Marquez Callaway, 28.7%, and he's been very streaky, but that's because Jameis Winston is very streaky. He's got 8 targets, 2 targets, then 5 targets, and back down to 4, 2, and then 5. I guess that wasn't preseason, so that doesn't really count. But regardless, Marquez Callaway, very streaky, could be a slate breaker here. 28.7% is kind of creeping down into that GPP territory. So like him as a pivot off of some of these higher priced guys at 8.6K. Yeah, I get it. It's pretty lofty of a price tag. So only projected 10 fantasy points, could be a slate breaker here, and teetering on that GPP cash category. I don't recommend him for cash. I think he's a little bit too expensive for that, and for good reason. If we take a look here at the snap counts, he still is playing the most out of all these wide receivers on the field, 82% of the snaps, followed by Kenny Stills and then Ty Montgomery. But let's talk about the rest of this wide receiver picture, because it's actually kind of murky as of right now. Kenny Stills is fully active and healthy at $1,600. As you guys can see, he's actually been pretty involved in the offense. Got 5 targets last game for 2 receptions, and he would have easily covered that price tag. Only has to get to 3.2 DK points. But here's the thing. Tre'Quan Smith could be back this week. Right now, signs point to him actually playing at 4.8K. He is listed above Kenny Stills in terms of the depth chart. He doesn't have a projection right now, 17.2% owned, so we have to update that. If he is active, I have to pin the post in the YouTube comment section. I will update you guys with my favorite play. Also, Deontay Harris, another guy that could be possibly be playing in this contest. He was questionable all this week, but he did not practice. So really don't know what's going on there. Right now, he has a projection on Prize Picks, which does give me confidence that he is playing. But he also has 8 DK points, so technically he's next in line in terms of the wide receiver. So it goes Callaway, it goes Deontay Harris, and then Tre'Quan Smith, and then Ty Montgomery, then Lil Jordan Humphrey. So that's the order of the depth chart, and it's going to be confusing here. So if any one of these guys are ruled out, talking about Smith, Deontay Johnson, then yes, there's a ton of value here. If just one of these two are ruled out, then there's a little bit of value, and if they both play, then I would be off the wide receiver picture just in general. I mean, you're looking at a 6.4K price tag and a 4.8K price tag, at least in cash. For GBPs, yeah, you have to take a stab at one of these guys. It goes in the pecking order. The salaries are exactly right, 8.6, 6.4, and 4.8. I think those all deserve the correct amount of price tags there. So I think DraftKings nailed that. Right now they're projected to score 23 points, which isn't crazy, isn't too bad against a very bad Seahawks defense. So yeah, I do prefer these guys more for GBP plays. I wouldn't be surprised if one of these guys ends up in the optimal here with Jameis Winston. Keep in mind, if you are playing a wide receiver, make sure if he is in the captain spot to always pair him with Jameis Winston. Don't put Jameis Winston in the captain spot because usually about 99% of the time, passing pocket quarterbacks don't make it as the optimal captain. Just another tidbit there. By the way, if you guys want to look at our NFL Showdown strategy video, I did post at the very beginning of the season to go over all this, how to build lineups on Fantasy Cruncher, all that good stuff. So I will go ahead and post that link up in the eye above. Last but not least, we have the tight end picture here for the Saints. Adam Trotman, 15.1%. We have him projected for 4 DK points. Actually, very good value. Very good value. Actually, one of my favorite value points on the board here. I forgot to give him a check. But yeah, 15.1%. I actually do really like him for GBPs, and I also don't mind him for a last piece in cash. He's been on the field a decent amount of time here to warrant a roster spot, 86% of snaps. I know he's also out there for blocking, but at $1,800, if he's going to be on the field a lot, specifically 86% of the time, then yeah, I really do like him here at 4 or 15.1% ownership. Juwan Johnson, really not too much interest there at 2.2K. He's on the field less than Adam Trotman, and he also isn't as productive. So I'm going to go ahead and avoid Juwan Johnson. And then kickers are always in play, especially in these low over-unders. Will Lutz is activated. I think he's going to play in this game. Yet another injury report that we have to pay attention to. If not, Brian Johnson's going to be next in line. Right now, they're both carrying ownership. I don't think that's accurate. I think they're just they're looking out for the injury report and making sure that they're picking the right kicker in terms of the ownership. So Will Lutz right now is expected to play. If he is, then yes, he is certainly in play, especially as the favorite. As the away team. Last but not least, we have the Seattle Seahawks here with Geno Smith at 37.3%. I know this is very hard to land on, but his price tag makes it very easy to fit him into your lineups here at 9.4K. He's actually cheaper than the majority of these players, these star players here on the slate. So if the Seahawks are going to get anything done, it's going to be through Geno Smith. As much as that sucks to say out loud, he has to be in your lineup, especially if you believe this game is going to be close. And if they're going to score over 20 points, right now they're projected to score 19. So if they're going to score over 20 points, then yes, Geno Smith is going to be worth it. He should at least throw a touchdown or 2 in there. I know the Saints defense is very, very good. If you don't believe he's going to do well, or at least somewhat hit his price point and distribute the ball to some of his wide receivers, and yes, you should be playing the defenses and you should be playing against Geno Smith and favoring the Saints. Now, on GBPs, I can almost guarantee you he's going to be very, very low owned. Right now, he's showing 37.3%, so I would include him in your cash lineup. He's teetering on that line between cash viable, GBP viable. I would say at 9.4K, the sharps are going to be on him. He's still projected 15 points, which actually isn't that bad. So I do like him here at 37.3%. Next on the board here is going to be Alex Collins from the running back situation here, 21.4%. Doesn't look like he's going to be cash viable. More of a GBP play. 7.4K is definitely a lofty price tag. Another guy that's going to play today, that should play, Rashad Penny was activated off the IR. He is ready to go. At least that's what all the reports say. So if he does, we know that Rashad Penny does have a lot of talent. He was behind Chris Carson on the depth chart, so that's something you like to see. We don't know how much of a workload he's going to get since he is coming off the IR, but at 2.6K, I do think he's worth a GPP dart in a majority of GPPs. I think you need to be overweight on him. Right now, he's only showing 9% ownership, so it'd be interesting to see how much of a workload he gets, and because of that question mark, I'm completely off DJ Dallas and Travis Homer. Like, those guys have a very lofty price tag here at 5.2K. DJ Dallas has been doing very well. He's been getting involved in the receiving game, so that's one thing I do like, just in terms of PPR upside, but he still barely hits his price tag. Even when he had a good game last game, he still got 5 targets for 5 receptions and only hit 10 points. He has to get to 10.4 DK points to hit value, so he's really not, so that's not really that good of a price tag. But these guys should be playing from behind, so that does benefit guys like DJ Dallas, and then Rashad Penny does actually play a full amount of time. I absolutely love Rashad Penny. So Penny, again, has the questionable amount of time that he is playing, so therefore I'm going to probably avoid the majority of these guys here in cash for GPP plays. They make for tremendous GPP plays because we know the Saints have a pretty good rush defense as well. Going over to the wide receiver picture, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and Freddie Swain. What to do with these guys with Geno Smith throwing the ball? In terms of a target share, it's been a majority of DK Metcalf, even though he's seen the least amount of time on the field, 75%. Freddie Swain's been playing 78%, and Tyler Lockett has been playing 89%. But let me show you guys. Tyler Lockett's production is primarily through the long ball. As you guys can see in the first 2 games with Russell Wilson playing, he's gotten 5 targets, 11 targets, but he's caught 4 and 8 balls. And then he had a couple drop-off games. And then once Geno Smith has taken over, he's gotten 10 targets in the game where he did take over and 5 receptions, so 50% catch rate. That's not very good. And then last game was even worse. 7 targets for 2 receptions. So he's just not completing the long ball to Tyler Lockett. And honestly, I am not on Tyler Lockett whatsoever. He is a GPP play, but his price tag is way too high up there at 9K. 13 fantasy points is what we have him projected at. Is carrying 31.3% ownership, and I get it. Geno Smith is throwing the ball. He should be throwing the ball a majority of this game. But DK Metcalf is where you want to go if you want to go for the safer play. Even had 11.8 points on 7 targets for 6 receptions. He's just right there. Easy dump offs. He doesn't really, go down the field too often. So big body, should be able to catch a majority of the balls that are thrown to him. 10K there. But Freddie Swain is one guy I want to talk about here. $2,000, did get 3 targets the past 2 games when Geno Smith has been throwing him the ball. Only has to get to 4 DK points. I know he hasn't gotten the best production here, 1.9 points and 1.6 the past 2 games. But the one thing I want you guys to pay attention to is he's on the field 78% of the time. So he's technically on the field just as much as Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf. That's one thing you love to see. And at a 2K price tag, I don't mind it. It has good boom or bust potential, especially if you believe that he's going to be throwing the ball majority of the game here. Geno Smith is at 12.6%. I don't mind him as a last piece in cash. I know that's weird to say just because of these last 2 performances. He has to get to 8 DK points for that to make sense. But, it all makes sense. I think it's a very good price tag. I think it's very easy to land on. And in terms of lineup construction, you're going to need to get Kamara in your captain spot, DK Metcalf, or Jameis Winston. So I do like him here as a last piece for 2K at 12.6%. I do consider him cash viable. Last but not least, we have the tight end picture. This one's also pretty interesting. Everett and Will Dissly. I project them both for 5 points. Right now, we have Will Dissly playing technically more than Gerald Everett at 48% of the snaps last game. I don't know if that's because his injury is hindering him. But right now, he's going out for more routes. He's more confident in the passing game. He's running more routes at 72% of the snaps. So I do like Will Dissly here at 3.4K. That price tag is a little too high for me, but I do consider him a decent last piece in cash or GPP. And then we also have the kicker here, Jason Myers at 20.4%, makes for a last piece in cash. I do prefer the other side if you're going for a kicker. Hopefully Will Lutz does play. Again, I will pen a post in the YouTube comment section. There's so many pending injuries right now that are going to affect the landscape of this showdown slate. But now let's go over to my favorite prize pick here on the slate. I feel like this is almost a free square. Right now, Freddie Swain is projected at 16.5 receiving yards. I'm going to hit the over on that. If you guys haven't signed up for prize picks, go ahead and enter code using DGF for 100% match up to $100. It helps us out, helps you guys out. And we give away a free prize pick on every single video. I will also be giving away a free prize pick on my next NBA video. So stay tuned for that. And that will wrap up my video, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy this video. If you did, please do hit that subscription button, notification bell, and of course, smash that like button for all of our future NFL content. With all that being said, have a great rest of your day, and let's cash.